Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna of Reinforce Me Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, I am going to talk about how did I manage to do my assignments in grade school, even though my parents were super busy. I know it is way too far. I am over 30 this time. Way too far to talk about the past, especially in the primary school years. But this message that I am going to tell you today is for the people who still haven't understand their situations yet up to this point, even those people who are older than me, who are at my age, who are in high school right now, in college, or even to those people, to those kids who are watching right now and their parents are so busy and have no absolute time for them, no 100% attention for them. My parents got separated when I was 5. And from that time, rarely my relatives helped me with my homework. My grandma was willing to help me, but the way my granny is kind of, you know, she couldn't understand what I'm trying to say and what is being asked on my assignment. So I know I could count on her. My granny, I could just count on her when I need food. So when I need food, she's always there for me. So the message that I am going to put out to the world right now is for the people, you know, who have gone through a lot on their childhood years. Those those adults or even high school kids, teens or early 20 adults who have no one to count on during their childhood years, during their grade school years. It was a hard time. I do understand, when you have no one except yourself. But I want you to know that those years were you know, a lot of things I couldn't understand about life, in life as a child. I have finally understand right now. It's actually it finally sank into me in my 30s. I am going to tell you about, the lessons I've learned, during those elementary years so that you could at least you could figure out why, you know, some hurtful things could be is happening was has had happened to you as a child that even your parents, you couldn't even understand why your parents were busy, why they couldn't help you, why they couldn't give you an attention. So growing up with challenges like, having your parents separated and you have lack of support with your schoolwork, your projects, and navigating assignments alone as a child can be tough. And I'm pretty much sure if you have gone through the same experience as I have, you will surely never ever forget those moments, those feelings, in your childhood when you have no one except yourself and your projects, your assignment to finish. I was even jealous to other kids though that they have parents, they have their brothers and sisters to help them. I got jealous, and by the way, I'm also an only child, so I didn't understand that. All I know way back that time was to finish my projects, to do my assignments, to do or not to do. So I picked assignments which were not worth doing. That's why I was able to get away. I was able to still able to graduate. I'm not saying not to do your assignments, but there are assignments which are not worth doing at home. You could do it in school. You could ask your classmates, and you know what to do. Especially the technology nowadays, though, you can always find a way. Like in a heartbeat heartbeat. Your assignments are done. It's just that you just feel there's some kind of lack of support from important people in your life. As I go along, as I'm going to tell you my top tips and how did I manage, soon enough, in time, you will understand why. Why did that ever happen? Why did the world, the universe allow that to happen in your life? In time, you will understand, and it will, those experience in the past will even make you a better person as you grow older, the best parents. Now, let's go back to my top tips. How did I get managed? Maybe it could be, we did have the same situation, like we have lack of support from the special people in our life. But I'm not angry. That's why I can open this up right now. I'm not angry, and I even appreciate and forgive and love my parents more than yesterday. Now, the first thing I did, first practical tips to help those kids, like me, to go through similar adversity, similar situations that I have way back when I was a kid was first thing that you can do is develop a routine. I am not saying that you have the best routine like gratitude, yoga. No, absolutely no. When your teacher tells you that you have an assignment today, there's a project for you to do, which will be submitted in a 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Just take note of those things to do. Develop a routine. Consistently do that every day. Not necessarily that every day, but just take note of what your teachers tells you to do. Your assignments, your artwork projects, which will be submitted in a certain due date. So just write them down. And create a study space. So way back before, I wasn't an A student. My notebooks were even empty. I don't like to write anything on my notebook. For the love of God, I don't like to write. I just write down the things which matters to me, my project, my assignments, and in my lectures, I just write down what's important to me to remember, nothing else. As to me before, what's the use of the book? I have the book. Why should I write it down? I just write it down, things that I can remember, and then I can read if I have time as a child. Because, childhood years, play, play, play. So, what I did was just write down the important things to do. Like math assignment, you need to solve this page 3, and pass it tomorrow. This will be your assignment. Or you need to do a color wheel, which will be submitted on Monday. Either your teacher give the assignment on Friday, and it will be submitted on Monday. So just write down your assignment. Just write it down and then play. Play. Talk to your seatmates. Have fun. And the study space that I've mentioned earlier was that those were a space, a little teeny tiny boundaries for yourself when you do your assignment. You have to be away from those people, especially your brothers, if you ever have brothers and sisters who doesn't have assignments and they're free to play. So just give yourself a space. Create a study space. I'm not saying that you have to study. A space for you to do your assignment. Stay away from temptations. I did experience that. Even though I'm an only child. I grew up with my cousins, and there were 5 of them, and they just play around. Happy days, and what am I gonna do? So I stayed in a teeny tiny space. I try not to look at my cousins playing there, right there in front of me, asking me to play. It was tempting, But you know the way as you know as a child who is responsible. I'm not saying as I'm a totally 100% perfect child. As a child who felt a certain responsibility of her choices, I choose to finish my assignments. I'm not a super child, but I choose to finish my assignments, even though when by the time I submitted my assignment, it wasn't a perfect score. It was like 80 out of 100. Oh, all right. As long as I did submit, teacher, I did my assignments. Even though if it's 79 over 100, that's still a passing grade, passing rate. The passing rate is up to 75. So I got 79, 80, 81, while my classmates who were doing their assignments with their brothers and sisters and parents, their grades were flying. I don't care. Look, I did my part. And I play. I have to play. So, yeah, it's quite, intimidating to see their assignments, better than what I have because their mom helped them, their dad helped them, but, I got no choice. So that was the little bit of like a pain in the ass for me that, gosh, I've got no one. But I still play around. I just forget it. Forget it, let's play. So just develop a routine to write down the things to do. The important things to do, not the entire, notes. If you are that kind of person, then yes, do it. Why not? And if you are already that kind of person, don't be like me who doesn't write anything in my notebook. I mean, it's totally empty. I can write down one or two sentences there for the entire 3 months. So that's what happened in my college years. The second tip is use available resources. Now, what are those resources? Number one, look, this is one of the best resources. Your teachers. Don't be afraid to ask your teacher for help during or after the class if there are things that you don't understand. As a child, you need your parents to help you understand some of your lessons. But if you ever got no one at home, ask your teachers. If you are scared enough to ask your teacher, if you're shy like me, I was shy to some of my teachers. And, to some of them, I'm not. I were. I did ask a lot, even silly questions. But if you are shy enough, another resources that you can grab is your smart classmates. You can even get a hint how they ever did their assignment by just merely asking them. So other than your teacher, you have your smart classmates. Utilize them, use them, since they're around. What's the use? Look, you have no other choice. When you get the hint how your smart classmates did their assignments, then most of the time you're going to have the same grades as they have. Just rewrite it in your own words. I'm not saying that you do this all the time, but when you have no choice, utilize the resources around you. That's not even cheating. That is called cooperation and being a resourceful student and compliant because you did your assignment at all costs. Another thing you can do is you have library, another resource at hand. If you have access to your school library or even local libraries, you can meet other people there. But as a grade school student, why ever go to the library? Well, some school might have trained students to go to the library, as a child, okay? That must be a child-friendly library. But our library before, when I was a child, I was in a public school, and there were like more than 40 to 50 of us in a class. In our library, yeah, it was a nice one, but the best part of our library that I can still remember right now is the television. Educational shows, which is just being depicted there in the television. So that was the best part for me. I don't really grab books there or read whatsoever. I have no interest. I'm a child. I'm entitled to watch TV. So that was way back before. And this time it could be totally different. We got internet. We can make TV, we can have screen time anywhere, everywhere. That's another resources for you, for all of you. Online resources. Make use of those educational websites, videos, apps that can explain subjects that you're struggling with. Especially that you know that your mom and dad are busy. So, yeah. And sometimes they could even hardly understand your lessons because they're thinking about their jobs, thinking about ways to get through life. So they did their job and you have to do your job too. Even to the extent that you have to just do your part even without them because they're quite busy. And once again, if you are a child who grow up that way, then yes, we I did felt that too. Another thing that you can do, as a child, is as a child going to school. I'm not gonna say this in an adult way, like staying organized, but it's just organized enough to take notes of those things to do given to you by the teacher. And besides, it's not gonna be a lot. There's just one assignment in a week, two assignments in a week, three assignments, or you'll never know. You've no assignments for the entire week. Just take note of it. And that's what I mean with staying organized. Staying organized means just don't forget the main thing. So that's what I'm talking about. The main thing, and then play. Play, 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 play. Number 5 is take care of yourself. I know kids, whenever they play and they can eat when they're hungry, they already know that they've already taken care of themselves. So play, play, play is also part of the exercise for kids though. Take care of yourself, eat, play, eat, play. So play hard, play hard and play hard. So that's just for kids. And one way to take care of yourself. And if you ever have time, other than play, make time to those people who matters to you. Even though your parents, they hardly have time for you. So you could still at least kiss them on the cheek before they go to work. Hug them tightly, like it's the best thing that ever happened to you for the day. You can make time with your best friend, with your brothers and sisters, with people who matters to you. Play with them. But never forget to do your assignments and projects, schoolworks. You can even do your schoolwork with your best friend, with your aunts. So one of my best aunts, she helped me a lot to some of my assignments. So yeah, she's kind of not a mother, a role model, but a sister to me. Number 6 is find role models. So as I've said to you earlier, my role model was my aunt. Every time I see her getting changed, going to work, so I said to myself as a child, as a grade schooler, look, when I grow up, I want to be like my aunt who doesn't go to school anymore, just work. Just work and work. She doesn't have to read and do some assignments. So I'll do my assignments so I can be like my aunt who doesn't do anything, doesn't have anything to do in school. So that was my thinking before because my aunt helped me a lot with some of my schoolwork and she was also busy. So look for inspiration, whether it could be your teacher, not necessarily your family member, it could be your family friend or someone you admire online. Find people who inspire you. You don't need to know them personally, but following their journeys can remind you that others have succeeded in tough circumstances too. It could be your, favorite cartoons, I remember Tasmanian Devil. Ah, I just want to eat and eat and eat everything. Anyway, that was my playtime, and that was one of my favorite cartoons. And no, not lastly. Number 7 is don't compare yourself to others. It's really hard to do this as a grade schooler though. This is some kind of an adult advice, but If you ever have kids, or if you're a teenager or a grade schooler who happen to listen to me right now, if you can, don't compare yourself to others. It will kill your self-esteem. Self-esteem is how you value yourself. So just focus on your own path, on your own game, on your own playtime, which is the greatest thing that ever happened in the day when you play, play, play. Focus on your moves. It's easy to feel bad when you see others getting help or support you don't have, which I've seen before. My cousins have plenty of support from their brothers and sisters, including their parents. And yeah, I also make my cousins as my resources. But we also have the same age, so when we do my assignment together, it's still a kind of messy because we have close age, and but still, I did my assignment, so that was the thing. I'm trying to be compliant, even though I don't want to. Trying hardly compliant. So yeah, even though it's hard not to compare yourself as a child because you've you need guidance, you need to understand the world, which you cannot at the moment. This is also a message to those elder brothers and sisters and parents to help the child earn, develop, or practice, molding, feeding their self-esteem, because it's about how they look at themselves in you know as a living creature in this world. When a child have high self-esteem, they have the best self-esteem in the world. They're not gonna get tempted to compare themselves to other. They're not gonna get tempted to validate their actions to others, their decisions to others. They're not gonna tempted to make friends of those shitty friends in school who are just going to bully them. The bad influencers in school. They don't. They know how to build boundaries. So you know, let us help kids build high self-esteem. In that way, they can able to protect themselves, with their own efforts, even without us. So focus on, you know, they can able to focus on their growth and the progress that they're on. If they're on into something. So as a child before, I couldn't help it. So since I am a grown-up person now, and I have the opportunity to say this message to kids. So yes, feed your positive self-esteem. Feed yourself. Love yourself more every day. Show yourself how much you love yourself, so that you don't give any, any opportunity to those people who's just gonna treat you like garbage. So although before, I feel you know the unfair, the life which is unfair. And in my head, in my mind, oh, I can't do anything about it. I just play. I play. Play is my way, my coping mechanism. And I have an imaginary friend, and way back before, but I don't have an imaginary friend this time. But I just noticed that I got an imaginary friend before, and it finally faded away. And this is what I got now, myself. Lastly, it's important to move on no matter how hard it is. I know as a child, it's hard for you to understand this. Move on, whatever it takes. Just play, do things that you can do, you know, in order to, forget that. You can't really forget that feeling, when you feel like you have no one at the moment, at the time. You just feel it because the most important people that you love have no time for you at the moment. But the truth is, you still have your neighbors, your brothers and sisters. If you're an only child, you have your teacher, you have your relatives, you have the internet. I could, well, I could say that these times in the internet era, I'm not sure if you still need your parents to do your assignments with you, but I would prefer to ask help with your parents, because in that way you will feel how you will feel that they love you, they make time for you, they support you, they're happy for you, they're there for you. Move on, no matter how hard it is, because you will come to understand your situation and your parents in time. For me, it's I was able to understand, finally understood, when I reach over 30s, when I finally move out from the house and have built my own empire, build my own family, work for myself. But you might not going to understand it at the moment when you are in that situation. But look, those terrible situations that you have in your past made you a better person today, wiser, better, more, much self-reliant, creative, and that one day, might not be today, you will understand how the world works, why your parents are doing what they do. They were also children before. Why you will come to understand one day why your parents do what they do, why your parents are like that, why your parents choose this journey. You know, they don't want to leave you. There might be some reasons behind their choices in the past. So one day you will come to understand that, and you will you will eventually know how much they love you. It could be they don't know how to show it before. They're catching up financially. Your family could be struggling financially. There are plenty of reasons. But the bottom line is, whatever happens to you, parents, except those shitty parents, majority of the parents love their kids so much, more than their life. And the situations that you have gone through in the past will also make you a better person today. Your experience is the best personal teacher that you ever have. So if you ever love this episode today, you can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even an Amazon Podcast. Reinforce me, Club. This is Anne, by the way, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time, and have a lovely day ahead. Thanks.